Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. I want to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand TV series, you will differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's begin with our next episode on the Follow the Brand TV.
Five-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
What if the real reason your artificial intelligence rollout stalled is not the technology itself, but the fact that no one in the room ever felt comfortable enough to say, "I don't understand this yet"? On this episode of Follow the Brand, host Grant McGaugh sits down with Jason W. Gallo, Vice President of Partner Go-to-Market Acceleration at Cisco, to explore the concept of trust infrastructure. Artificial intelligence transformation is not primarily a technology problem. As Grant points out, the real challenge is trust. Jason puts it succinctly: it's a trust problem wearing a technology costume. When organizations focus only on the technical side, they miss the deeper issue. People need to feel safe admitting what they do not know. Without that foundation of trust, even the best technology will fail to take root. Sometimes it takes a simple gesture to change the culture of a room. Jason shares a story. She set a stuffed elephant on the table. At first, people laughed it off, but the elephant became permission. Whoever picked it up had the floor. That elephant was more than a prop. It was a symbol that everyone's voice mattered, and that permission to be heard was granted to all. Cisco recently announced Cisco 360, a complete overhaul of their partner program. But here's the twist. They announced it before it was fully designed. Everyone had their fingerprints on the clay. With over 35,000 partner organizations worldwide, Cisco invited everyone to help shape the future. This act of co-designing built trust and ownership across the network. Leadership is not just about believing the impossible is possible. Jason recalls a moment of exhaustion. My legs gave out at mile 24. My mentor didn't give a speech. He sat down next to me and helped me find 5 more steps. Sometimes real leadership is simply sitting beside someone and helping them move forward, one step at a time. Before people can adopt the future, they have to trust the path. This week on Follow the Brand, Trust Infrastructure, with Cisco's Jason W. Gallo, we learn that trust is the foundation for transformation. New episode on the Follow the Brand podcast, with award-winning host Grant McGaugh.
Welcome, everybody, to the Follow Brand Podcast. This is Grant McGaugh, and I get an opportunity to talk to someone that I've been wanting to talk to probably since the beginning of 2026. That is Jason Gallo. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. If anybody's done the history of my story, I started at, especially in South Florida, 1998, doing via Lucent AT&T, got into the, communications, digital, voicemail world. And then this little company called Cisco came along. And they were just this tiny little router company, right? And they said, you know what? We can do voice over IP. We can actually put this on a data network and do this at much lower cost. And we laughed about that. These guys kicked our natural butts. I mean, they just put it on the map when it came to voice over IP, and they did it so well because data and the data engineering and what was happening in that world, they understood that telephony was really just an application on the data network. They proved it. They won that particular battle. They did a great job. But Jason Gallo does a lot in the partner community, but he has a story that I think will be very interesting for us to truly unpack and understand. So, Jason, welcome to the Follow Brand Podcast.
Happy to be here and great to be a part of this episode and here for your listeners.
Absolutely. Now, everybody has an origin story, and I love origin stories, right? Because I'm a big Marvel fan. I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man has a fantastic origin story. Now, you're from Brooklyn. I got to hear, what is the Jason Gallo origin story?
Yeah, so I often share a little bit about that background. Just a kid from Brooklyn, as I like to say. Find myself in the tech industry like not so many of my students or my buddies growing up who were from Brooklyn. But yeah, 1980s version of what Brooklyn looked like. I know Brooklyn is quite different nowadays. My dad used to preach in front of crowds at Yankee Stadium. Mom was the third New York City sanitation woman ever and a 9/11 first responder. So she had quite the impact on my life, as you can imagine. And my grandparents, they were also big in my life, local entrepreneurs. They sold genuine simulated wood, and that was my first
That's
experience.
interesting.
I learned marketing from that experience, right? Genuine simulated wood, and had a local furniture store, and so that was my first job. So humble beginnings, box boy at the furniture store, and
Mm.
really just a kid from Brooklyn.
Boy, we got to keep unpacking that story because you go from that particular fundamental beginning, right? Very well grounded, but now you're leading one of the largest partner programs within Cisco Systems, which is a leading tech company. If people don't know what you're doing, how do you go from there to there? I mean, that's a big gap in story, right?
Yeah, so I appreciate you calling that out. I guess for me, that background, if you will, it always instilled in me leadership and this idea of being able to be the first to accomplish things. And when people think that something's impossible, there was truly this belief, whether again it was from my dad preaching, my mom being the one of the first sanitation women ever, if that meant what it was going to take to put her kids through college,
Mhm.
that nothing is impossible, and you really just have to persevere and push through it. But I think the evolution as you go from that to, understanding leadership at a different level, was a part of my personal growth. So I often tell the story where around 2003, I was finishing up University of Chicago, had the opportunity to go to Booth School of Business and learn tremendous amount there. But I found myself after that back in Brooklyn with a group of friends and was sharing similar sentiment or thoughts as I just shared with your audience, which is, everyone can just, push through their limits and you can be the first and nothing is impossible. But what I missed at the time when talking to a bunch of friends is that, one of my friends was really going through a life crisis.
Mhm.
And that advice doesn't necessarily always work, like be the first and push through. I had missed the point, which is, that there's more to it and there's more to leading than simply just pushing people. And so I fast forward past that incident with my friend in Brooklyn. A few years later, had a buddy of mine, a mentor of mine, who said, "Hey, let's cross the Grand Canyon together." And
Yeah.
okay, a Grand Canyon rim to rim challenge. And by mile 15, my mind, I'm just completely given out. But he had already planned this list of questions and things to talk about to pass the time. By mile 20 or so, the body starts to give out, and he had already instructed us to have some electrolytes and extra water, etc. And by mile 24, my legs literally gave out. I mean, I literally collapsed on the ground. And at that point, my friend sat with me, and periodically we thought through how do we take 5 more steps,
Wow.
at least figure out how to, move forward in a progressive way. And I'll never forget that moment because I learned what I had missed with my friend back in Brooklyn, which is that real leadership, yes, it is about being the first, believing that you can push through, that the impossible is possible, and all of those things. But what my mentor taught me was that along the journey, you have to also equip the team with the proper tools that unlock their strengths.
Yeah.
And that empowering moment allowed me, obviously, to finish that Grand Canyon Rim to Rim Challenge. But it was where I went from that Brooklyn kid mindset that was, I can power through, I can be resilient, I have the grit, to I have to have all of that as a foundation, but I have to then empower those around me to also unlock their unique strengths and lead in a different way. And so when we talk about going from that one mindset to where I'm at today, I really attribute it to those few incidents.
Mm, You mirror what you just put forth as your story is what I wrote about in my latest book. I came out with a book in 2025. It's right behind me here on First Light, and that is called The Brave Path to Authentic Leadership. And what you just talked about is exactly some of the principles that I bring forth. Because you got to first get to your identity, right? And you really won't know your identity until you've gotten through, you got challenged to your core and you really found out how much you had to take. And I love what you just said about 5 more steps. When you got nothing, I said, I got nothing. How do you take 5 more steps? But that encouraging voice, you can do it. This is how you do it. Here's the tools. I'm going to show you how to do it. And then that skill set. But that mindset shift is so important to get to that next level. I call it my brave framework, which is now you got to get your identity. Now you truly know yourself at a much deeper level than you did before. Now you can be more resilient as you start to go through these different things. You still want to move forward. You still want to be that first, that gun ho, but you're doing it as not only just yourself, but then is how do we get there? And I can see why you're now leading the partner world in what you're doing and then being authentic about it because you got to be real
Yeah.
in what you're doing, right? And have that vision and then you execute on that. I see that a lot in what you just said and your true, I'm gonna call it a Spider-Man moment, you know?
I love it. I love it. And I think you're right. It exactly mirrors that shift from the me to the we.
And this is important now because I feel we're both been in this technology platform from a long time. I got in with voice over IP, which I talked about. I started getting into social and mobile compute, cloud computing. I've watched Cisco grow along that whole entire stratum. We're now in probably in our lifetime, we'll never see such a technological leap in an
Mm.
AI era. Artificial intelligence is everywhere. And now you're seeing huge investments in infrastructure, which is where Cisco kind of sits. What do you see now as you look out that lens in the partner world? Because they've got to now upskill in a lot of different areas. And it's not just marketing is one thing. And I love how you said that too, how you sold your parents, how they sold the wood. Because I see a lot of people selling a lot of synthetic wood out there and calling it artificial intelligence. And like, well, what were you doing, before, 2022? Like, but I see a lot of that out there, but they've got to upskill. What are you doing now in your world to help people to be authentic in their AI journey?
Yeah, great question. And I'll tell you, as you mentioned, this is a once in a decade, if not once in a lifetime, type of a transformation that we're seeing. AI, I believe, and folks here at Cisco, we definitely believe that it'll surpass the impact of, other breakthroughs that we've lived through, like the internet or cloud, or you mentioned, voice over IP and telephony. It's truly something that's going to reshape every industry. We're also seeing not just AI as a tool, AI is now becoming much more of a teammate. We're
Mhm.
moving towards these agentic AI capabilities where, companies and workforces will consist of not just billions of people, but billions of people and AI agents that are interacting at once. The scale of what we're talking about and the advancement, the speed is it's going to dwarf anything that we as a society, frankly, I believe, has had to tackle or transform through. And there's two things required to do that. One is a platform, what you described, that transition from a platform where you just have a whole new setup, a whole new structure of how the landscape works. But the second is trust. And I
Mhm.
think when you go through a change, a transformation, an impact that's this large, trust has to also be elevated to allow that innovation to sink in.
100%. I call it the trust infrastructure.
Mm,
Because
mm,
what you just said, what we're talking about, it's not just a technological platform change, it's the social work construct change. Where
yes.
do I fit in? There's a lot of anxiety out there now. Where do I sit? I mean, what job function will I have? I put a commercial out just recently where I showed like if you sat down, you nailed Microsoft suite of products. You just nailed you just own PowerPoint and Teams and Excel. You were just great. And you sat down at this new boardroom, and there's new other individuals there, and they're opening up ChatGPT, they're opening up Canva, Claude, Gamma. I mean, all these other tools. And you're like, oh, I'm a little bit behind. So there's a gap there. The trust factor is number one, am I obsolete? Number two, do I have the ability to get the training that I need to get there? Number three, the industry is still defining itself. So we don't really know exactly how this all is going to play out. From a leadership perspective, how are you dealing with that?
Yeah, that's exactly the change that I am describing there. Again, Cisco will handle the technological, the infrastructure side of it, but that trust infrastructure, if you will. I'll share another story. So a few years ago, I was part of a special task force here at Cisco, and the idea was we were going to launch this breakthrough technology. Every function sent a single representative that was going to support from their functional understanding and expertise and success of this initiative. It really meant, besides helping support the company, it was like a career ticket to vice presidency and senior roles. So there was definitely a lot at stake for those of us who were selected. And yet we were regularly flying into these high level meetings, and it wasn't quite clicking. To your point, you'd get in there and you'd have people opening up different things, et cetera. We were nodding even when we didn't really understand what someone was saying. We looked aligned, but we might not really be prioritizing some of, the challenges that a different function was bringing up because we had our own concerns. I like to call it we were dressed in corporate camouflage.
Aha, yeah.
And that corporate camouflage, I think a lot of us in our companies and our day-to-day jobs, we wear that. We're protecting ourselves of the things we know that we have our own priorities, or sometimes the things we don't know and we aren't, trusting enough to reveal that just aren't aware or don't have that knowledge yet. But that also causes a stifling of innovation, I believe. And so one day at this project, a senior Cisco exec, she walks in, Nina Lualdi. I've always given her so much credit being a mentor of mine, but very unique, purple streak in her hair, Bahamian jewelry. She comes in with this stuffed animal elephant under her arm, and we're all like, "Well, wait a minute, we're very serious executives here. What is this?" And so she places this elephant right in the middle of the table, and some people laughed it off. For me, I was okay. She's got my attention. What is this? And what we learned in that moment was that this stuffed animal was really the embodiment of why we weren't innovating, why we weren't able to break through as a team working on this launch. It was the proverbial elephant in the room.
Uh-huh.
And so some of your audience, I'm sure, is familiar with, like, in kindergarten, you get a talking stick, which is like permission to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
This was permission to be heard.
Mhm.
And what we found is when an individual grabbed that elephant, it was an empowering moment that said, hey, I really am being vulnerable enough to grab a stuffed animal elephant in a boardroom setting. But at the same time, I really need you to hear this.
Yeah.
And it changed the room. And for a second, if you take a step back, in big meetings, there's a lot of us who may not speak up, or there's something you didn't understand, you stay quiet, or the stakes aren't even that high, like someone has broccoli in their teeth and you just don't say anything. That's that moment of not being able to trust and speak up that we're talking about here. And yet that elephant, it allowed us to break through and have real innovation because you took that disconnect, that corporate camouflage out of the room the second somebody grabbed it. So I guess in this era of AI, we're going to have all that innovation. And yes, there are groundbreaking ideas from brilliant people. There's technology that's going to hopefully inspire the world to do things differently.
Mhm.
But without that trust infrastructure, as you put it, I think the reality is the innovation is only going to be absorbed so far in our jobs and in our expectations of what the promise of the technology can bring, unless we're able to bring a diverse group of brilliant minds together and understand the new use cases and let those ideas flow in a way where everybody has permission to be heard.
This is what you're saying is so important. I want the audience to truly lean in on this. We're going into the great unknown, whether we want to or not, kicking and screaming, just like we all went through COVID. It was a giant experiment for the entire planet to go through the shutdown and reopen. And all of a sudden, digital technology became at the forefront because the only way we could socialize and talk to one another. We're going through something similar, I believe, meaning we don't have all the answers, and we have to admit it. We have to admit it. We don't have all the answers from the top to the bottom. We truly don't have all the answers. And I go back to some of the things that I remember learning, especially, and I go back to that voice over IP world,
Mm.
in the Cisco world, meaning we would talk to a certain set of individuals within the company and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and change out our telephony system. We've had this telephony for a very long time, very, very long time, and it worked. And you want to come out with this shiny new object, okay, I think we'll go ahead and do that. Not only 4 or 5 people did that, not everybody. Not understanding that that technology actually touches everybody in the community. And they all utilize it in a certain manner, in a certain way. So when you change their way of doing work, their workflow, and you give them a new technology, and then they have to decide individually, am I going to adopt it or not? Am I going to use it or not? I'm going to try to find some workaway to get back to where I used to know how to do things and not move forward. So you get that resistance and that pushback on the adoption of new technology is a very real thing. And I have found that the only way we got around that is through training, through communication to really talk through like the reason why we're doing it this way or this new tech, whatever it may be, is because it's going to make you better in the long run. It might be a little bit of an angst in the short run, but in the long run, it's going to be better. And as we look back at that, now everybody uses these types of technologies and they don't think twice about it. You look at mobile. I remember me on the cell phone world. I remember, why do I need to? I'm never going to take a phone call in my car. That's ridiculous. I would never do that until all of a sudden I started seeing they had email on my phone and some other things on my phone. I said, well, this kind of cool. I kind of like this, right? I think that's the same thing with AI. There's going to be some pushback around it. Like, hey, I don't want somebody, they can duplicate my voice. They can do this. They can do that. It's not good. This is bad. And you're changing how I do work. And so there's an adoption curve that is there. I know you see that because you see the partner community at Cisco, and then there's a ton of people connected to that. They're all trying to jump on board for things, but then the population that you're looking to influence, meaning the business owner or the corporation, they're like, "Hey, you're kind of pushing this on me. Am I ready for this? Are you really ready for this, or you're not ready for this?" And I go back to what I'm trying to making my point is, are we supplying the right communication? Are we supplying the right training and understanding? And can we say in a vulnerable state, we don't know everything? We really don't, but we assume that this is going to be a better path forward.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, and I think that is the mindset that we have to get into at an individual level, at a team level, at a company level, and then across the industry as well as a whole.
So we're going to continue along those lines of the story. And I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to speak a little bit to that elephant in the room. That is, and I've been in technology 30 plus years, and I would be very honest with you, Jason. I could count on my hand most likely how many times I walked into that room and the key decision maker of an IT project was a person of color.
Mm,
Just a fact.
mhm.
And in the technology realm, you see that there's a very low percentage of people represented in that world out yet. This is something that affects us on a daily basis all the time. How do you overcome that in that first mode that you had? And what do you see about when other technologists are out there, people that are looking to get into those worlds? What advice would you have for them?
Yeah, sure. Well, in general, I definitely resonate with that because until recently, it's now 100% of the times, I guess, when I walk in the room, there's a diverse leader because I'm walking in.
Right.
But besides that, I certainly can understand for a lot of folks what that may feel like and understanding how to break through in those environments. I'll tell you though, the key is again coming back down to that human level. We're all experiencing career journey and ambitions, and what are those things that make us more alike than different? And I will tell you the key for me was a mentor. I was actually a part of a McKinsey leadership pipeline at one point. And the thing I learned that quite often is not taught is a mentor is not a single thing. And a mentor, there's about 12 different versions of what a mentor can look like. A mentor is not necessarily somebody who's going to tell you what you want to hear all the time. There's a mentor who may be a connector, and they're just going to connect you with different people. There's a mentor who's the coach and providing you some of that, input that you need to hear and boost you. There might be a mentor who's a visionary, and they're like, look, just look ahead. If you look 2 to 3 years out, 4 to 5 years out, whatever it may be, having a career plan, and you'll get different mentors, and you should have that board of directors who can help you see through that. But often you might walk into a room where someone doesn't think like you, doesn't look like you, and that's not always a bad thing. And it was when I shifted my mindset to understand that there's such a thing called the devil's advocate mentor, where I can learn just as much from somebody who doesn't think like me, who's disagreeing with my ideas, and is basically revealing potential holes in where we need to go, the journey that we're laying out in our strategy. I still may not agree with them by the time I walk out the door,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
way more informed when I'm in that room with a set of opinions and perspectives that I may not have walked in with. And so I've come to appreciate that in a different way. And I think the rooms that I'm in respond differently to me because I now have and make space for that type of additional perspective to enter into the strategy or to the initiative that we're crafting.
That is so important. I call that the contrarian.
Hmm.
Contrarian archetype. I bring up Spider-Man. Spider-Man, will Spider-Man be Spider-Man without the Green Goblin?
Right.
I don't think he agreed with everything what the Green Goblin was doing, but there was a relational tie. The contrarian is a part of our world of opposites that are just there. That not everybody you're not going to agree, but you can agree to disagree. But they have a role to play and understanding that in the holistic world, that you've got to see all the different moving parts, and everybody has a different agenda. And for them, that agenda is over there. They might be more of a plateau guy. You might be more of a mountain guy. Doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just that's the direction that they want to move in, and you want a direction of moving toward the top of the mountain, right? All those things are very important to understand the perception. I go back to that first thing I said about brand identity. You have to understand not only how you see yourself, but how others see you,
Mhm.
how you're seeing the room, how they're seeing the room, having that a complete set. And I think AI helps because I do that a lot when I'm communicating and about to develop, whether it's going to be an email or some kind of post or some kind of communication. I say, how does that the person that I'm looking to send an email, like say if I'm sending Jason Gallo an email, how does he view that? And it'll come back with a whole different view. And I'm like, oh, well, that changes my whole email output. I like that about AI that I can do some modeling, which I really couldn't do before at speed, right? And understand these different perspectives. Like, all right, I'm not seeing everything because even right now, you can only see maybe 180 degrees, not 360. So AI is an agent, as you said, maybe
Yep.
gives you a little bit more viewpoint. That's going to be a good thing. When you're talking now, to your partner community. And
Mm.
they're going through this shift, this change, and there's a lot of things on the table that they're looking at. What kind of conversations are you having with them?
Yeah, appreciate you asking that. Um, what I would tell you is there's a couple of things that, as you mentioned, the partner program, Cisco 360,
Mhm.
is what we call it here at Cisco, and we recently announced that back in the late January, early time February timeframe. Uh, Biggest transformation in Cisco's partner program in 30 plus years. And we have about 35,000 partners globally. So these are businesses that are, really generating profit and driving experiences and satisfaction with their customers who are, purchasing the Cisco technology and outcomes. And so it's a vast network of companies having to work together in the midst of a major overhaul of this program that stitches the community together and creates the connective tissue, if you will, across all of these businesses. And so your question is quite relevant in that, you as a leader who, if you find yourself in that position, you're trying to bring along multiple businesses across different global settings, across different government policy and how economics and taxation works. And how do you find that core truth that can move the whole community forward? And we decided we couldn't do that on our own. And we stepped out of our comfort zone and put in place something called co-design.
Okay.
And we're really getting a lot of accolades for doing this, and I'll say being very courageous as a vendor to announce the partner program 18 months before it was even fully designed. And at first, it was quite the shock for the community. It's like, well, you're Cisco. Don't you have all the answers? And what's the FAQ? And give me the webinar to show us all the answers. And we were like, no, we're actually announcing this, and it's not done.
Mm.
And that was a surprise when you have, again, 35,000 plus business owners and companies saying, well, why would you announce something that's not done? You're going to cause disruption. And, being a Cisco Gold partner was known in the industry. Isn't that going to cause a challenge? And what we realize, it at first may cause some, like any big transformation, a level of change that we're all going to have to work our way through. But in the long run, what it allowed us to do was co-design it together.
Nice.
Everyone was bought in. Everyone's fingerprints were on the clay. And so what we ultimately came out with was a much better solution that not only worked for Cisco, but it has now been received by the partners in a way that we could not have expected. We're just overjoyed with how a transformation at this scale didn't break major parts of this ecosystem, these partnerships, these alliances that we've, forged for so many years, because simply we listened and we co-designed it in a way that wasn't, this is the answer and take it. It was not a level of arrogance. It was, we're going to co-design this and listen to what the community needs, and then iteratively build the policies around what makes all of us stronger.
Love that, love that, love that, because they have skin in the game. Obviously, you're affecting a lot of things. It's not just yourself; it's everybody. So many people use these systems. I don't know if the audience is aware, but a lot of the routing that takes place, how the internet actually worked. The internet wouldn't be without Cisco systems. Let me tell you that. And they were still doing so much more innovation as they move forward. We're going to conclude here, but before I do, I want to give you back the mic, and anything that you would like to let us know that is important to you that we have not covered, coming from Brooklyn. I'm not going to talk about the Knicks. You might want to talk about the Knicks, but anything else that you want to bring up, go right ahead. I'll give you the mic.
Sure, absolutely. So I am a New York fan, so I definitely have to say, let's go Knicks, and maybe more importantly, I love my Mets. So I hope it turns
Okay.
out to be a good
Okay.
season. You can see the hat here in the
Yeah.
background.
Yeah.
But also, just in terms of men's health, I often, when I have a chance, try and help remind everybody about prostate cancer. I lost my dad in 2020,
Understood.
and great guy. And it was one of those things where it's totally preventable. It's an unfortunate cancer that if you don't catch it early enough, it causes quite a lot of problems. And like I said, we lost him. But there's some great organizations out there like Zero Prostate. They do local races and help support those type of fundraising and benefits for people in need. And so, if thank you for giving me a chance to kind of mention that. That would be one I would encourage. It is often forgotten. But it's certainly one of those things that takes some loved ones away from us that I'd ask your audience to consider supporting if they can.
Oh, without question, I'm all about health. I cut my teeth a lot in healthcare technology as well to actually help, especially with the messaging, understanding what can be done in the healthcare realm. If you can get to it early and often, especially for men, get yourself checked out. Just get yourself checked out. There's no reason not to do that, and then go through the process if you do. I think it's something, the numbers are pretty high about how many men actually will get prostate cancer in this world. So, don't say it won't happen to you. Is the thing, right? Right. So
Definitely.
that one look like question, how do they get if the audience says, hey, how do we get in contact with you? What is the best possible way?
So LinkedIn, you can find me at Jason W. Gallo on LinkedIn, and I am very active. Will respond to messages, but also you'll see me post a lot of great stuff around AI, where we're headed with cybersecurity, and the new innovations and things that we talked about on your show here today.
Excellent, excellent. Jason, this has been wonderful. I want to thank you. I want to thank your Cisco team and thank our audience for continuing to tune into all the episodes of Follow the Brand. They can see all of our episodes at 5-star BDM. That is the number 5. That is star, STAR, B for brand, D for development, infomasters.com. I want to thank you so much again for being on the show.
All right, appreciate you. Thank you for the time.
No problem. You take care of yourself.
Man, who's your favorite podcaster? Man, Grant, man. I love Grant's podcast. Well, who's Grant? I'm going to send you the link. I love Grant.
I love the interview. I've done a lot of these, and this is a great one. It's always great to talk to people who know what they're doing, and it's clear you're a great host, and you've done this many times before.
I feel great that we're having this conversation here. Met a new person in business who I previously didn't know.
It was an amazing podcast. Grant is an amazing interviewer. I learned a lot.
Really enjoyed this. Great questions, great talk track. Super appreciate you having me on. It's been a very fun episode to talk about a lot of things that I don't always get to dive into. So this has been a fantastic conversation.
I wouldn't be where I am here today, of course, not on this stage. However, not in my current business projection and my current business model without working with you.
The difference between influence and legacy, it's the platform that carries your voice. You're not visible because you lack talent. You're visible because your brand doesn't speak. I've built 5-star BDM to change that. Most leaders have the expertise, but not the presence, the vision, but not the vehicle. Across 3 cities, one brand is helping leaders rise above the noise. Here in the heart of Omaha, strategy isn't left to chance. It's engineered with precision. In Omaha, we engineered your executive brand, AI-powered, data-driven, precise. TISA went from a local nonprofit to a national speaker in 90 days. We don't guess your brand strategy, we build it. On the shores of St. Croix, your brand takes on depth and meaning, shaped through curated retreats and legacy experiences. In St. Croix, strategy becomes soul. Our retreats don't just refine your message, they rediscover your mission. One founder rewrote his entire company story here. Funding followed 30 days later. This is where leaders remember who they were meant to be. In vibrant Miami, momentum meets amplification, transforming your voice into a movement. In Miami, your brand becomes a movement. Business development accelerators, audience building. Joy came with an old website and an outdated company name, but she left with 5,000 followers and a waiting list. This is where you scale with soul. 3 cities, 1 mission, your legacy ignited. It started with a thread. Let's pull it together. Stop blending and start leading. 5-Star BDM, where legacy is engineered, embodied, and ignited. Visit 5starbdm.com and book your brand audit today.
How many times have you heard the word artificial intelligence in the last month? Now ask yourself a better question. How many times has artificial intelligence actually put money in your pocket? Artificial intelligence is everywhere, but revenue is not. Here is a truth most small businesses do not want to admit. Your next customer could be calling right now, and nobody is answering. It is not because your team does not care. It is because your system is broken. Missed calls mean missed revenue, and every unanswered call is a lost opportunity. In this episode of Follow the Brand, Grant sits down with the leaders of We Level to explore how agentic artificial intelligence is changing the game for small businesses. Not with more hype, but with speed to lead and real implementation. Imagine systems that answer, qualify, schedule, and follow up with customers, even when you are off the clock. This is not about replacing your brand, it is about protecting it. The businesses that win in the artificial intelligence era will not be the ones with the most tools. They will be the ones that know how to connect artificial intelligence to revenue. Watch the latest episode of Follow the Brand. Your business called, nobody answered. Most people are not behind on artificial intelligence because they lack access. They are behind because they do not have a system. You might think it is about the latest tool or the newest app, but the real gap is in how you work. You have tried ChatGPT. Maybe you got something impressive, or maybe it was a little off. Either way, you probably went right back to doing things the old way. That is not a tool problem. That is a workflow problem. The challenge is not about having artificial intelligence at your fingertips. It is about making it part of your daily operations. That is why Ikaba created the AI Accelerator Group series. These are structured sessions, hands-on labs, and real work on the table. The goal is simple. Artificial intelligence should become part of how you operate, not just something you experiment with on the side. My segment is called Your Brand, Your Voice, Your GPT. We build a brand GPT trained on your voice, your standards, and your real-world use cases. This means your content, your client messages, and your strategy outputs stop sounding generic and start sounding like you consistently. In the lab, we build it with you, step by step, so you leave with a system that works for your business, not just another tool. If you are ready to stop stacking tools and start building real systems, join the next cohort. Want to see what this looks like before you commit? Come to the free Bring Your Work preview. Bring one real deliverable, and we will work it live. Comment, preview, and I will send you the registration link. I get pitched all the time. Investment banking firms, software as a service companies, consultants, they're always polished, professional, and prepared. They walk me through their pitch. I nod. I understand the offer. But then, I forget them. Why? Because there's no emotional connection, no story, just information, dressed up in better formatting. But then, someone walks in and tells me a story. Maybe it's about a problem they solved, a customer who transformed, or the moment everything changed. That story sticks with me. It's not just about what they offer, but how they make me feel. That's the difference. This week on Follow the Brand, I'm sitting down with David J. Ebner, founder of Content Workshop. Together, we're unpacking the difference between story-first and content-first leadership. We dive into emotional connection, why asking who does this help changes everything, and how to build real authority in a crowded marketplace. If you're building a brand, scaling a business, or trying to stand out in a commoditized market, this conversation is for you. Storytelling isn't just a tool, it's your edge. New episodes every week on Follow the Brand. Join us, and let's build something unforgettable together.
The 5-star BDM LinkedIn social selling course can help you stand out and attract the right connections and opportunities. We will help you professionally create your profile, provide personalized recommendations for improvement, and help you create and share engaging content to help you showcase your skills and expertise. Our 5-step course makes connecting with industry experts, finding job opportunities, and building meaningful relationships easy. Social selling can be an effective way for you to generate leads and close deals, but it does have its challenges. Our course will help you solve the problems associated with digital networking. If you need help personalizing your outreach and messaging, which can lead to low response rates and a lack of engagement. If you need help targeting the right prospects, this course is for you. With so much noise on social media, it can be challenging to cut through the clutter and get your message in front of the right people. Our course will personalize your messaging using our targeting tools and research. You can identify and reach the right prospects. We will also show how to deliver high quality, valuable content that attracts and engages prospects and clients. The 5-star BDM LinkedIn social selling course will address these challenges by implementing best practices. As a result, you can improve your social selling efforts and generate better results. Are you looking to improve your LinkedIn profile and reach a wider audience? Social selling is an effective way for you to generate leads and close deals, but it does have its challenges. Some common problems we saw with social selling include lack of visibility. If your profile is not optimized or you're not actively participating in groups or sharing content, it can be difficult to get noticed on LinkedIn. Number 2, lack of personalization. Some businesses struggle with personalizing their outreach and messaging, which can lead to low response rates and a lack of engagement. Also, difficulty targeting the right prospects. It can be difficult to identify and target the right prospects on social media, especially if you don't have access to robust targeting tools. And number 4, outdated content. If your LinkedIn profile or content is not up to date, it can give the impression that you're not actively engaged on the platform or that your skills and experience are not current. And lastly, poor quality content and not leveraging video and picture to convey ideas. To solve these problems, the 5-star BDM LinkedIn Optimization Social Selling video course will help you focus on personalizing your outreach and messaging to better connect with prospects. In module number 1, the foundation, we will help you create high quality, valuable profile that will attract and engage. In module 2, the story, optimizing your LinkedIn profile to make sure it is complete, accurate, and visually appealing. In module number 3, the experience, using your targeting tools and research to identify and reach out to the right prospects. In module number 4, engagement, establishing a consistent follow-up process to nurture leads and build relationships over time. And lastly, in number 5, execution. Understand the metrics to help you measure your brand effectiveness. By addressing these challenges and implementing best practices, you will improve your social selling with the 5-star BDM LinkedIn Optimization Social Selling course. Listen to what others have said about 5-star BDM.
Grant, I'll tell you why I'm here, right? I'm here because I love your brand. When we started chatting on LinkedIn, we connected. I checked you out and I go, man, this guy knows what he's talking about.
You were definitely instrumental in helping to shape that knowledge of who I am. Because at first I thought, well, I am an actress. I am a writer. I am a producer. I am a speaker. And so I said, well, I must be a creative communicator. I know that there is a narrative thread here, but you nailed it when you said you are a storyteller. So you brought it all together in this cohesive title.
Sign up today to improve your social selling opportunities. Now I only got one more question to ask you. Probably my most important question today is, now this is your first interview on the Follow Brand podcast with me. How did you feel?
Oh, it feels great. Like I'm with you, Grant. First of all, Grant, you yourself, let me give you your flowers. You've been such a tremendous leader in our community, whether it's in the field of healthcare, leadership, IT. You are a tremendous leader.
You've been on a lot of podcasts. You have your own podcast. Now you've had the experience of being with me on
to sell my image or sell my services or sell my, I could be myself. I had a great experience with you. And
you've done a lot of podcasts. You have your own podcast. Now you've gone through the Follow the Brand podcast with myself, Grant McGaugh. How did you feel about this interview?
Went exceptionally well. And I thank you for the opportunity, Grant, to be able to speak about me. Because one of the things about my own podcast is that I reflect a lot on stories and situations and examples of things that I've experienced, but seldom is it a platform and an opportunity for me to really share my story.
I'm just so happy with you. But I got to ask you this, because I've asked my guests this, always in real time. I like to have it in real time. How did you like your appearance on the Follow the Brand podcast?
It was like I was just conversing with a good friend of me, sharing my heart out. It was no, and you've just touched the right chords. So that's where, I was able to bring out so many things and share everything so honestly from the bottom of my heart. So it was not like a formal podcast where you are like, hey, Grant, yes, Grant. It was not like that. It was no real question session. This was pure fun.
Are we building a workforce strategy, or are we just buying a tool? This is the question that sits at the heart of every conversation about artificial intelligence today. For many organizations, the focus has been on the technology itself, but the real challenge is much deeper. It is not about the latest software or the most powerful algorithm. It is about leadership. Most organizations are asking the wrong question about artificial intelligence, not because they lack intelligence or vision, but because nobody told them the question had changed. Grant McGaugh, CEO and founder of 5-Star BDM, puts it simply, the conversation has shifted. Artificial intelligence is no longer just about machines that create things. As Michael Fawcett, founder and CEO of Arian Research, explains, we moved from machines that create things to machines that do things. That is a completely different kind of thought process. Every enterprise pilot that has ever failed did not fail because of the technology. It failed because of people. The real obstacles are not technical limitations, but human ones. Leadership, communication, and vision are what determine whether artificial intelligence initiatives succeed or stall. The technology is ready. The question is whether leaders are prepared to guide their teams through the change. As Michael Fawcett points out, it's more of a change management issue than anything. If you say we're building a hybrid workforce and nobody's losing their job, you'd have much better adoption. The real work is not in the code, but in the culture. Change management, not computing power, is what drives successful adoption of agentic artificial intelligence. Agentic artificial intelligence is not a technology investment. It is a workforce strategy. There is a difference. The difference is everything. Organizations that understand this distinction will be the ones that thrive. Those that do not will struggle, no matter how advanced their tools may be. Michael Fawcett has advised Fortune 500 companies through this exact transition. With 35 years in the engine room of enterprise technology, his insights will change how you think about what you are actually building. Listen to the full conversation on the Follow the Brand podcast. Agentic AI is not a technology problem. It's a leadership problem. Available now on all platforms and at 5starbdm.com.
Hey everyone, it's Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM and host of the award-winning Follow the Brand podcast and TV series, where I help you to build a 5-star brand that people will follow. My genius is personal brand development through intelligent communication and helping you achieve your business and career goals. I am a requested speaker on digital technology and brand development issues. I want to work with you to increase the value of your current opportunities while attracting new ones. Every one of you is unique, and we all share challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. As a super connector, I work with you as an executive coach to guide you along the complicated business and career development road, providing the enhancement tools and information you need to succeed. Together, I will help you succeed in today's challenging business climate. I will evaluate and measure your progress. Best of all, I am right alongside you every step of the way. Build the brand called you. Genius is coming. Tune in for our next show or click on our website at www.5starbdm/followthebrandtv. Thank you.
What if you could unlock the power of your personal brand, no matter where you are in your journey? That's the heart of Follow the Brand, a podcast where host Grant McGaugh reveals that everyone, yes, everyone, has a brand worth sharing. Whether you're a Fortune 500 CEO, an entrepreneur in transition, or just starting to explore your purpose, this show is your invitation to discover what makes you unique. Each episode features intimate conversations with remarkable guests. You'll hear from branding legends like David Auker, Fortune 100 executives, quantum physicists, space mission launchers, and AI innovators. Grant dives deep into their stories, uncovering the purpose and authenticity that drive them forward. But this isn't just about learning from the best. It's about finding the universal patterns that connect us all. Through the BRAVE framework, brand identity, resilience, authenticity, vision, and execution, you'll see how a healthcare executive draws inspiration from an endurance racer's grit, or how an entrepreneur learns strategy from a CIO's tech journey. With over 225 episodes and 50,000 downloads, Grant brings 3 decades of business expertise and wisdom to every conversation. If you're ready to build your executive presence, navigate a career change, embrace new technologies, or simply tell your story more powerfully, Follow the Brand is your guide. Your brand and your purpose are already within you. Let's bring them to light.
Hey everyone, it's Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM and host of the award-winning Follow the Brand podcast and TV series, where I help you to build a 5-star brand that people will follow. My genius is personal brand development through intelligent communication and helping you achieve your business and career goals. I am a requested speaker on digital technology and brand development issues. I want to work with you to increase the value of your current opportunities while attracting new ones. Every one of you is unique, and we all share challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. As a super connector, I work with you as an executive coach to guide you along the complicated business and career development road, providing the enhancement tools and information you need to succeed. Together, I will help you succeed in today's challenging business climate. I will evaluate and measure your progress. Best of all, I am right alongside you every step of the way. Build the brand called you. Genius is coming. Tune in for our next show or click on our website at www.5starbdm/followthebrandtv. Thank you.